Hi sweet friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maylene Call from Mrs. Call's Campers. If you're new here, I am a first grade teacher. Today we're setting up for Meet the Teacher. In case you missed my last video, it was all about home visits, how and why I do them. Definitely go watch that video if you're thinking about doing that maybe in a future year because school is starting. But Meet the Teacher is a night where parents and families come with their children. They get to meet their teacher. Of course, I've already met most of my students and I have a lot of siblings and I know a lot of the families in my class anyway this year, which is really special. But they come, they bring their supplies, we organize them all, they get forms, and you get to chat a little bit with them and with their child and just get ready for the year. Answer any questions, send home anything that you need. So in this video, we're going to be setting up my room for Meet the Teacher, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys everything that I send home, communicate to families, all that good stuff. Inside of this folder, which the office only had long folders, so I chopped them. I put any of the papers that they're going to be leaving with. And for first grade, we have dismissal signs because when we dismiss the kids, there's so many of us and we're not sure whose parent is who just yet. So we can easily see like, okay, this parent is picking up this child. So I think I'm actually going to staple the dismissal signs to our folders this year so they're a little bit more sturdy in the wind, because sometimes the papers here with the biggest wind can kind of get out of hand and a little bit crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff these folders. Inside, I'm putting dismissal procedures, specials calendar, forms that they need to scan and complete for me, and then a teacher brochure that I have shared with you guys before. This that has all of our information. We're going to start stuffing those. Honestly, I could paper clip them together. That way they're not flying around everywhere. That's probably a good idea. So it'll look like this and go inside. So in case you haven't seen the video, everything that I put in the brochure is pretty simple stuff. I don't necessarily expect parents to be looking at it all year long. It's just kind of to get an idea at the beginning of the year, and sometimes if they want, they can reference it. It's pretty good about communicating, so anything they really need to know, they know, but they just have so many questions at the beginning of the year. In there I put my favorites, which my school also has our favorites listed on the website, so if coworkers or parents want to get gifts, they're there. And then I tell them a little bit about our classroom and flexible seating, food policies, birthday policies, and then a little summary of the first grade skills that we have. Regardless, your child is going to be pushed, but we really want to master these skills. I have homework policy, and that's it. A lot of times parents look at it once, maybe twice. And in case you're curious, my school is a no homework policy school, which even when I was at schools where we had homework, I didn't do it because I don't believe in it. It's not my favorite things. Let me know if your school also has a no homework policy. The other thing in here besides my brochures that just talk about me and the classroom are all of my forms that I need them to fill out just for me personally. So I have on there a student information form, which I'll share those questions with you in case you're curious. Actually, I think all the forms, or at least old versions of them, are shared in my link. So if you go to bit.ly/MCC links, it's in the description box for you. You can see those forms and make copies of them. I think they are like an older version. I've modified a couple things since then, but it's basically just asking about their child, if they saw school as a positive experience, what motivates them, what upsets them, 3 words that describe them, things like that. And it's really not a lot of questions. It's only like 5 or 6 questions. And then the other form that I have them fill out is a social media form, which people ask me about this all the time, but it basically explains that I have personal social media accounts on YouTube, Instagram, and what's the last one? TikTok. YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And I asked them, is it okay if I share photos of their work? Is it okay if I share photos of the child, group photos, photos of them working? Is it okay for their voice to be heard in a video? Is it okay for them to be seen? So I have all of that laid out for them there. And it covers all those little things like, yeah, maybe you can share a photo on Instagram, but maybe they don't necessarily want their child's voice heard in a YouTube video, so I'll change their voice on camera. Like if they shout out something in the background, I'll either change their voice or I'll cut it out of the clip. And most of my families actually follow me on social media, so most of them are totally fine with it. But there's some families who are like, yeah, I'm okay if you share like their work, but not necessarily pictures of them. So I leave it up to the individual family. And I also tell them on that form, I'm like, this is not a kids channel. Like this is a channel that is meant for teachers when it comes to YouTube specifically. Because I really don't love for students in my class to watch YouTube videos just because they spoil surprises and it kind of like ruins the magic sometimes. But I have had kids who just love to watch it, or like parents will send me pictures of their kids like watching my channel because they just think it's cool that their teachers on YouTube. But I definitely don't blast it to the kids, that's for sure. And whenever a kid brings it up, I'm like, we're not talking about that at school. And I tell them it's a teacher channel, not a kid's channel. There's two other forms that I have on here. There's a playdate form because I often get parents who ask me for other parents' phone numbers, or they want to schedule a play date, or they have a new best friend, you know. So I just found it to be a lot easier if at the beginning of the year I said, hey, if you are okay with your number being shared for like a group of parents who maybe are willing to schedule and have some play dates, let me know. And then everybody who fills out that list, I share that list. Because sometimes kids are like, oh, I want to call so-and-so at my house, or they'll try to write down their phone number and they don't know each other's phone number. So the very last form is a volunteer form for the classroom. I ask for volunteers to come and help during reading time, to help pull kids for things, to help make copies for me, all sorts of things. So that is the last. And we are done clipping all these together. That actually was a lot better, I think. Another thing that I do whenever I'm setting all these up though is I make extra copies and extra folders, and I have everything ready to go for new students. Okay, folders are put together. Like I said, those are probably just gonna go on this back table, and now I'm putting in the signs that are gonna be out for me, the teacher, just so things are a little bit easier. I do this also when I have subs in my classroom, as I put signs up so that things are just easy to find, easy to locate. So we're gonna lock these bad boys in. I actually feel like this is taking all day, but it's just because I keep having to leave and go do things. It's really not taking that long. I don't know what is on this one. Honestly, I think it might be like pancake mix. That is fine. What we're gonna do is put up our bulletin boards. These two bulletin boards, honestly, most of the time have student work. Sometimes they have other things, especially if we're doing different units. I'll kind of use this to display units and what we're learning. So these papers that I printed last year from Step into Elementary, the whole bulletin board kit is by her from a year ago. And we're gonna put these up just for some cozy classroom vibes for me, the teacher. Is she perfect? No, but let's get parents some realistic expectations. So nice that we get time on staff development days to do these things, because we are technically getting paid to do it, which is good. The other thing is I really, really like this paper I have back here. This is better than paper. It's like almost like a thick tablecloth type of feel. And I do not staple things anymore. I don't staple, I just use push pins. I don't know what they say. It does say welcome to first grade. I have to share a tip with you guys about cutting out the insides of letters. I like a lot of times to leave a border when I cut things out, but if you ever have like the letter O or D or P or any of those letters that you have to cut the inside out, sometimes people just leave them to avoid cutting them. But if you even just slice straight through, once it's up, you can't even tell that you cut it. So you can get to the inside. I could put fun stuff around, but I really don't care to. We'll do welcome to first grade. We're just doing this intuitively. You gotta trust your teacher intuition sometimes. Welcome to first grade. Amazing work. I think last year that's kind of what it looked like, and that was enough. Yesterday after school, I actually worked on the bulletin board that's in the hallway, and I really like my bulletin board in the hallway because I set it up for me, the teacher, and it's laminated. This is a kit actually from Primary Scouts, but I laminated these so I can just write students' names on it every single year, and they wipe off if you use Expo marker. So I have all the kids' names up there for me, the teacher, so they see their names. During the first or second week of school, we do an activity that's, because I think I got this from that activity, and it's like an all about me. And so I just replace the laminated sheets that were up for me, the teacher, with the all about me paper that they do. And then I add a banner to the top so that can stay up for a really long time in the hallway because it's back to school themed, and I don't have to have a separate bulletin board for me, the teacher, and for some student work. It kind of just evolves. Okay, I think I'm gonna go to lunch with my team. We're bringing in some school supplies. So strong. Gonna figure out kind of the flow. Parents are gonna be at the tables, filling out forms, and then usually I just have an area where supplies are dropped off. So that's probably gonna be either at the front over there or on the edge of the carpet over here. I think over half of my class already has supplies dropped off, which is nice because it's less work for me to do with the actual supplies when they get here, but I also have to deal with them right now. There's a couple of things that are like on my supply list that are not in these boxes here. Again, it feels like every time I go to do something, I have to go and do something else. I just went and checked on some forms that we normally hand out at Meet the Teacher. We're going to unbox all of these. We're gonna, actually before I do this, let me check them off my list. I keep a checklist for Meet the Teacher, and it's the students' names, and then it has sections to check off if they came to meet the teacher, if they have supplies, if they filled out a couple of different forms for my school, and then a section for notes. If they order these supplies, I'm just gonna check them off. That way when they're like, hey, did you get our supplies? I can say, I did. Here's what they look like. Hopefully you can see. Okay, so up on the board, my PowerPoint, so you guys can see. Welcome, I'm so happy you're here. We're gonna have an amazing year. Please be sure to sign in, sort supplies, complete the scavenger hunt with your child, complete paperwork. I might swap those two. Take folder and read dismissal sign. Let me fix that much better. And then I have that image up there just as a reminder in case they are asking what the supplies are. Thank you for sorting supplies. Another nice thing about the supply list is we have boys get some items and girls get other items. These boxes do have tissues and wipes, so boys and a girls items. I've got a few of those now, but I'm not going to get too many more tissues and too many more wipes, so it's still pretty balanced. It is the end of the day. This took me all day. Well, I was doing a ton of other stuff and a little bit of organizing and printing and prepping for other things, but we're finally done. Here's the board. There is this. I'll show you where I have all the supplies organized. Nothing is in this main space because I know there's going to be a lot of people. On this very back table over here, my table, there's my little clipboard that I'll be carrying around tomorrow night. I have the students' names on all of these folders. Inside the folders, you guys saw everything in there. The folders are going to be spread out so the names are easy to see. I also have my teacher wish list right here. This is the same one that is in the description box of this video if you would like to donate. Over here, I'm going to put the forms from the school that they need to fill out, some pens, and I'll turn it in here. This is just the sign-in sheet. I'm trying to spread things out a little more this year. And then over here is where all the supplies will be handled. So scissors, dry erase markers, glue sticks, pencils. All of this, I do ask them to remove the packaging. Some of them don't, some of them do. And then over here, ignore those math books. This is the pencils and colored pencils and crayons station. So they're going to put a box of crayons in here. Everyone's bringing two, so I just went ahead and did it for the students who already have their supplies in here. And I set up a little caddy back here just in case parents ask. They can kind of see. One issue I'm worried about is I did ask for 24 colored pencils because we'd use them for poetry. The 24 pack of pencils actually has more colors, which is what we need, but I did already have a parent bring two 12 packs, so I'll kind of have to see what I need to get for them in case a lot of other parents do that. We'll see. Maybe I shouldn't leave the pencil bags here. We'll figure it out. I'm like, if they put both of these in one bag, it won't be what we need. Anyways, not the big of a deal. This is that. I did go ahead and unbox some curriculum. This is my messy corner right now. It's the one area in the room that I'm like, there's nothing I can do about it. So there's some math books over there, other things. We're gonna ignore that. Over here is the last kind of station. So copy paper, and then there's also cardstock they're bringing. All that will go on top. Hand sanitizer, I'm just having them put it in the sink. And then over here we'll have paper towels, cups, plates, all those things. And then wipes and tissues will be here. Oh, and then last we'll do primary journals. This area also is normally where this trash can is. So there's a couple of areas in my room now that I'm like, oh, I really gotta like wipe that down. This area right here. All of this is for the parents. I do have a couple of home visit gifts for students who I didn't get to go by and see. In this basket, I'll show you what I put. These are some team gifts I'm in the middle of making. You will see that video. But this is what I hand out to any previous students that come by and say hi. So I'm gonna leave this over here and they can just pick out a sticker. Our Meet the Teacher is kind of like a come and go situation. So I'm constantly walking in the room, talking to kids, checking in with parents. And so in order to kind of help that, I have a scavenger hunt. So I have them here and I'll usually hand them to the children to start. So whenever their grown-up says hi, I hand them this scavenger hunt, and I kind of explain a little bit how to do it. And there's a couple of them that are right here in the middle of the room. There's math, there's the rug. It's hard to point on camera. Go for it. And then when they're done, there's a spot on here that says turn in here with the star, and that is my actual turn-in bin. So this is kind of nice because I put them in the area they live. Backpacks, over here by the backpacks. I'm working on Meet the Teacher gifts for my students tonight. You don't have to do gifts. You don't have to. But I usually give them a little something for coming. And if they don't come, then they could just get it the first day, no big deal. So I'm making those tonight with some coworkers. The last thing, this, that I keep in my window all year, because I can pull it out if I'm like, you know what, we're not using the nugget today, but a do not sit sign. So I put here, honestly, it's mostly for younger siblings who will come in and their parents are not really watching them, and they'll like come over here and start jumping and acting crazy. So I put a sign. All of this will be gone and cleaned up, and the room will be pretty clear of everything, I guess. And the last thing I have, just in case they ask me about phonics or secret stories, this, which I used to put in their bee binders. So this is just here in case a parent asks about it. I'm done for the day. I might put some clips in here of us putting together the little gifts for Meet the Teacher.
That's why you made the bows.
Yeah. Hopefully this video was helpful. Make sure that you like it so more people can see it. Subscribe and join the family down below. And I'll see you in the next one.